Hi there, today I want to share with you a simple idea around helping your website in the search engines, but also making your social media campaigns and your social media marketing so much more effective. My name is Carl Craig West and I'm a speaker, an author, a trainer and also the founder of the Auckland Business Builders Club and Smashing Self-Employment Business Communities. And if you like this video, please click on the like button, share it out far and wide, especially if you know someone who could do with this. And if you're really a fan of what we're doing, we make one of these videos roughly once a week. Click on the subscribe button, which is a little icon in the bottom right hand corner if you're watching on YouTube, or it's down below. We make one of these videos every week and every single one of them is designed to help you to build your business in some way, shape or form. So, okay, about this amazing concept to do with your website and your social media. Well, you may have heard somewhere along the line that content is king. What that effectively means is that if you want your website to do well in the search engines, and you need to be creating regular content in the form of blog posts, articles, case studies, customer testimonials and stuff, and regular stuff going into your website to keep the search engines coming back. And every single time you make a content item like a blog post, you get extra points in the search engines for certain key phrases on that particular blog post or article and on your website as a whole. However, that is not the whole picture, because whilst content might be king, content sharing is most definitely its queen, and the two go hand in hand. I suppose, kind of like a king and queen. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Well, if you can imagine having blog posts on your website and every single time you do it, Google comes and takes a look and there's great, more content, let's give them a few more points in the search engines. But there's a lot you can do to aid this process, and the bulk of it is all around content sharing. In other words, sharing your content out on social media and encouraging others to do the same. Now, first things first, let's clarify, you should always be writing your content for your audience and not just or not specifically for the search engines. Google will spot if you're trying to game the system and they'll penalize your website in the search rankings. But first things first, when you've created a new content item, you certainly need to be sharing it out yourself. You can share that out on your own social media. You can tag a handful of people if you think it's particularly applicable to them, particularly on LinkedIn. That's what I like to do. And then you can also email that content item out to your list. That's what I do in the Smashing Self-Employment and Auckland Business Builders community. I share the most useful content that I've got going on with my audience on email. Now, all of my content is designed to help people, so make sure that whatever you're sharing is designed to provide some kind of value to your audience. Now, the cool thing about this is that whilst Google might see your content, in fact they will see your content every time you write something and publish it on your website, but they also see the activity that goes on around it. And all of that activity is pointing back into your website. And I've said in another video, all of your online activity needs to point back to your website. It's the only online channel that you truly own. But Google will spot the activity. Whilst they may not necessarily give you any extra points in the search engines for sharing stuff out on social media, if that develops traffic back to your website as a result of your sharing, then it will give Google a good indicator that this content item or this blog post or article or whatever is actually popular, and as a result, because of the additional traffic, you get additional points in the search rankings. So the search engines don't pay little attention to social media, but if that social media drives traffic to your website, they're definitely paying attention to this. Now, another thing that you can do is to make sure that you reshare your post out to your social media on a periodic basis. You don't need to share it just once. You can do it again in a couple of weeks' time. Every time I publish a blog post or a podcast, for example, I always share it out on the day, but then I always then share it again a few weeks later, because you will likely hit different people at different times. So it doesn't matter that yes, only a few people will see it now, a different group of people will likely see it on social media in a couple of weeks' time, because we all tend to look at social media at different times usually. There are some people who do it habitually on a particular time, but it doesn't matter. They're likely to see it. If they see it once, it's highly likely that in a few weeks' time they won't actually remember, because that's the nature of social media. It goes by so quickly. So share your post or your content on a regular basis. Now, I don't mean every day, but I do mean periodically, every few weeks, reshare it out again. Like I said, you're likely to reach different people. Now, there's a couple of ways of making this a little bit easier using technology. The first thing I urge you to do is to have a sharing plugin on your website that enables people to, if they read a blog post, to share it out with their social media. And if you take a look, there's a couple of examples here. I use a plugin on my website. It's called Monarch, which is pretty cool. It enables me to put up some good looking sharing buttons as well, and that way people can share it on their social media. When you do share it on social media, you can request that people share it out far and wide. Whenever I make a video, I always ask people to share it out far and wide, and the same goes for my podcast. But the idea here is to encourage people to share on your behalf. Like I said, the more people you reach, the more links you get back to your website, which Google doesn't necessarily pay attention to. But if those links develop traffic, Google is definitely, and the search engines, definitely paying attention to that. So whichever website you're using, Google WordPress is usually the best software. There's loads of plugins to help you share your content. Like I said, I use one called Monarch. I like it because it's dead easy to use, and it's really, really straightforward, and it's quite attractive too. I also use a plugin on my website called Revive Old Posts, which is a free WordPress plugin, and enables you to hook it up to your social media. I have it hooked up to Twitter and also to my Facebook page, whereby every day it shares out a content item at random from my blog post archive, and you can select the do's and don'ts. Don't share these ones, but definitely share these. You can select the frequency, so it can go out daily, every 2 days, every 2 hours if you really, really wanted to. But the idea behind it is to use the technology to automatically share out your content for you. Again, big fan of labor saving, big fan of automations, and that's a great little automation tool right there, and it's free if you've got a WordPress website. Another big thing to me is I use a software called Buffer. It's an app or a website where I can schedule out my social media, which means that I don't need to try and worry about what I'm sharing every day. I can go and share it. So if I share an item now, then I can schedule it to be shared again next week and the week after if I want to. And again, it's using the tools to work that little bit smarter. It's called buffer.com. I like it. It's not expensive, but it enables me to manage my social media and do all my blog social media posting from one place in one go. It means that I don't have to worry about what I'm doing, don't have to go in every day and think about what I'm going to post, etc. I can get it all done in a single batch. I typically do Monday morning. That means I can get it all done, and it just takes care of all the work for me. So there we have it. Remember, content is king. You won't win in the search engines, you won't do very well with Google, etc. if you don't have any content. I recommend that you be writing content, blog posts, articles, comments, opinion pieces, case studies, customer testimonials, how-tos, and all sorts of useful stuff on your website, on your blog, and simply because the search engines will love it. But remember, that content needs to be shared out. You will have limited reach if you just post something out on social media, post something out onto your website and leave it there. Share it out onto social media, use tools to encourage other people to do the same, and remember to keep sharing it on a periodic basis as well. But that's enough. I'm going to put links down below to where you can find these tools that I like to use. Remember, go out there and do it. Nothing changes if you change nothing. So remember, this stuff just works. And that's it. It works. So go ahead and do it. But that's it. I'm going to stop talking now. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow, whatever it is that you do. I really, really appreciate you tuning in. That's enough from me. Thanks a lot, and bye for now.